Remember when I made that long ass video about how Tiny was dead and now the burden of fun rests solely on those who play it? Well, forget all that nonsense because whoa, would you look at that? We have life, baby. Out of the blue, both Tiny Leaders Reborn and the official Tiny crew both chose to come out of their respective icebergs and give us some rules updates, which is great, means the format is alive and kicking. Might be the kind of artificial life that you get from stray lightning bolts hitting a dead body, but it's life all the same. Of course, this means a whole new set of problems. How are we as a community supposed to deal with the idea of two competing rule sets? Which one should you be listening to, if either of them? How about we take a look at the rules and talk about Tiny for another 10 minutes. You already know the basics: 50 card deck, including 1 commander, 25 life, 10 sideboard cards, no mana value higher than 3. There's no such thing as commander damage, and one thing you might not know is Tiny does the brawl thing that lets you use planeswalkers as commanders. Do with that information what you will. After that, we start getting into some creative differences. We have an unfortunate dichotomy between a rule set which technically carries more authority as the quote-unquote official rule set and literal trademark holder of the name, and then we have a rule set where the rules are actually playable. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw my hat right here at the beginning. No clickbait here, it's this one. You should be following this one. Tiny Leaders Reborn might not show up anywhere on the Google results, but they're the ones actually doing the work and making the changes that need to be made. They were the last ones to leave and they were the first ones to come back. Since it's going to get confusing if I have to keep clarifying who I'm talking about, from here on I'm going to refer to the original TL blogspot as the OG and Tiny Leaders Reborn as TLR. Both organizations came to the same conclusion about MDFCs. Even though the CMC of a double face card is technically only its front side, that doesn't really work for us. So an MDFC is legal in Tiny only if both halves are independently legal. Jorn is fine because both halves are 3 CMC, but unfortunately Burgi isn't because the horn costs 5. TLR uses the current Mulligan rules, which is to say the London Mulligan. OG has not made any statements on the subject, and as a result, their website still says they're using the Vancouver Mulligan. I don't think they really think that, but that's what it says. Because they're not using the amazing technology of the London Mulligan, it also means their solution to the partner problem is a lot less balanced. Fish, what is the partner problem? Well, dear viewer, Tiny is a very value-oriented format. By running 2 partner commanders, you're effectively starting with an extra card. You get card advantage right from the beginning of the game. In EDH, this doesn't really matter as much, but in a 1v1 game, 1 extra card makes a huge difference. OG identified this as a problem, so their solution is: each player's starting hand size before Mulligans is 8, minus the number of cards in their command zone. This means partner commander's starting hand size will be 6, as opposed to the normal 7. This rule tries to balance out your extra card by giving away smaller opening hand, but it isn't very balanced. Seeing 6 cards just drastically reduces the chances of seeing a keepable hand, meaning you're much more likely to need to take a mulligan, and it's only going to get worse from there. Partners are good, but drawing 6 overcorrects in the wrong direction. So here's the updated solution from TLR, the London Mulligan. If you have more than 1 commander, your London Mulligan starts at 1, so you get to draw 7 as normal, but then you gotta put 1 on the bottom of your library after you've kept your hand, and then more when you take mulligans. You still get 1 less card, but you get to see 7 first. Partners are brought down, but you still get to play the game. In OG, a deck cannot contain more than 3 colors. I didn't even mention this in the first video because it's just so weird, it throws off new players before they've even played the game. The original gimmick was 3 mana, 3 colors, and for some reason they've maintained this rule the whole time. I truly don't understand it. It means the 3 5-color commanders are banned, and you can only run partners if they don't go over 3. TLR has no rule about colors. It isn't listed anywhere on their comprehensive rules, but after talking to people, it seems like commander tucking is still permitted in the OG rule set. This means you cannot put your commander back in the zone as a replacement effect to being shuffled into your library. Again, this isn't anywhere on their official website, so I'm not sure if that's an official position or not, just kind of the vibe that I got. TLR uses all the current commander rules, which includes being able to replace shuffle effects and allows death triggers to work on commanders. Let people have fun. Alright, let's talk about ban lists. These are the cards which are on both ban lists. Most of these shouldn't be surprising to anyone. All the fast mana cards, power 9, stupid bullshit, cheap tutors, famous combos. Stuff that might be interesting to you are cards that aren't banned in Legacy but just push a bit too far in Tiny, such as Jite, Counterbalance, Edric, and High Tide. Also, unlike Commander, Tiny maintains a banned as commander list which includes Arreo, Raphaelos, and Derevi on both lists. Both lists banned Thassa's Oracle in their recent updates, so get that shit out of here, dumb fish, put some damage on the stick. deck, you nerd, but there are quite a number of differences between the two lists. The following cards are banned in OG but not in TLR. Black Vice, Goblin Recruiter, Sword of Body and Mind, Najeela, Sisay, and Cody. Najeela, Sisay, and Cody are all banned for the simple crime of allowing you to play 5 colors, which we already talked about. OG doesn't like that. Black Vice being banned was a mystery to the community for a long time. We couldn't really figure out why this is on the list, and the best idea we could come up with is that it used to be on the Legacy list and got grandfathered in when the format was created. It's legal in TLR and no one plays it. Goblin Recruiter is the same story. I don't see anyone using this card one way or another. It's probably good for some things. I'd be excited to see what that deck looks like. And then lastly, Sword of Body and Mind. The idea here is pretty simple. This card mills for 20 when it hits you. After using this card in TLR, I can definitely confirm it's very strong, but personally, I don't see it being any more egregious than most of the other things you can do. It's big, it's slow, it's extremely interactable, it's strong, but not worth being on a ban list in my opinion. The following cards are banned in TLR, but not in OG. Gaia's Cradle, True Name Nemesis, Oko, Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Mox Amber, Mox Diamond, Court of Cunning, Maddening Hex, Deflecting Swat, Fierce Guardianship, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Uro, Ren and 6, and Ashiok Dream Render are also banned as commander. The Moxen and Lotus are just following the example of the other fast mana being banned. These cards keep in line with the format philosophy, there's no fast mana here. Gaia's Cradle is Gaia's Cradle, and Oko is Oko. I think these ones are pretty self-explanatory and I don't think anybody disagrees. Deflecting Swat and Fierce Guardianship both fall into the category of auto-includes. Powerful 0 mana spells that are almost always online have proven just be too oppressive for the format. True Name Nemesis is a controversial one. It's not impossible to kill, but it is damn hard. I don't think it's overpowered personally, but I think this card is uninteresting and frustrating to be around, and by banning it we can allow Sword of Body and Mind to be legal. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is one that is just going to be unique to Tiny forever. Obviously it depends on your opponent, but in a perfectly average Tiny deck, this card is going to get around 17 cards. Mill is already pretty uninteresting, and it doesn't need any help. Court of Cunning is a similar story, but it has the added benefit of triggering multiple times throughout the game. It acts as an alternate win con even for non-mill decks, as long as you can protect your monarchy. I think this is probably the weakest card on the list. Maddening Hex is the nuts, deals an average 3.5 damage per trigger, and it's completely one-sided. And then for the banned as commander list, Uro, Ren and 6 lets you play a wasteland every turn. Ashiok does 3 things and all of them are backbreaking. Mill doesn't need any more help. So that's a lot of bans, but to be fair, the last update was 2 years ago. And that's everything you need to know about rules. What about resources? You're saying, oh fish, I don't even know where to start with a deck. Well, remember in that last video when I said mostly dead is partly alive? There's a hustling, bustling community of people playing Tiny. We're just all hiding under rocks like a bunch of weird bugs. If you're interested in playing Tiny Leaders and you're looking for resources, there's going to be 2 links in the description and the pinned comment for 1, the unofficial, very cool Tiny Leaders Discord, where nice people hang out, and we might even try to remember to talk about Tiny Leaders at some point. It's not my Discord, I just hang out in there because people are cool. And 2, the official TLR Discord. Warning, it's very French in there, but they've got a huge list of resources for a million different decks that you can take a look at for inspiration and share your list for other people to look at too. Discord may have done the entire internet a disservice by decentralizing every single usable and searchable forum for every topic and hiding them away in weird corners of the internet that steal your data, but that's a topic for a different video. For now, I'll see you in there. I'm posting a deck tech and gameplay video alongside this one, so go check that out. We're going to be talking about my Anaphens of the Foremost list and 8.5 Tails. See you over there.